I'm muted. There we go. What is going on, everybody? How are we doing? I hope everybody's having a great Monday. Not gonna lie to y'all, I've been struggling a lot this past weekend. For one, Christmas was really stressful, and for two, my grandmother passed on the day after Christmas, so that's been tough to deal with. Mentally, and so I almost contemplated not even doing the show tonight, but I didn't feel right doing that. You know what I mean? I just wanted to make sure that I'm here for everybody else and trying to keep everything going. You know what I mean? So Jahu, what up, man? I appreciate you. I appreciate your comment on that post. I didn't respond to any of them. I just there were so many, and two, it's just it's a heavy time. So like I just but I seen it and I appreciate it, a lot, and I appreciate everybody that's reached out and checked on me and checked on my family and made sure that everybody's good and made sure that we're all doing all right. It's greatly appreciated. Um, but yeah, so Zip is either going to be really late or he's not going to be here. I'll kind of give you guys those updates as we go along through the show. Uh, Happy to see you going live, my guy. Yes, sir. I mean, it'd be kind of silly if I just stayed, stuck in my own head. And where did my camera go? Oh boy. 1 second here. Sorry. Let me repeat that. I didn't know I was muted again. My battery on my fucking computer died. Everything is just seemingly falling apart. But I appreciate those who checked in today and are tuning in today. It's greatly appreciated. It makes all of this pre-show stress well worth it. You know what I mean? But so yeah, like I was saying, it's been a stressful weekend. I decided to take the day and kind of just let myself feel it as much as I can. Without getting too far into it and not trying not to just let it consume me. You know what I mean? But so either way, we're here. We're getting the shit done. We're doing it. We're making it happen. It's kind of off the cuff, but I'm very excited because we have a good buddy of mine joining in virtually, and I've known this dude for Christ going on. Let's see, my oldest daughter's 10, and we met in the Subaru community. I want to say like 3 or 4 years before she was born. So yeah, I mean we're talking 12, 13, 14 years. I mean this man has seen it all. And we've seen the ugliest sides of one another, helping each other with this mental health battle. You know what I mean? And both of us have, you know, attempted to take the easy way out and kind of just give up on shit. But like we fought in this we had a little falling out years ago, but I mean we kind of just picked right back up. Everything was kosher, and He's supported the podcast from day one, and he's got his own podcast. It's called One Day at a Time. He's doing his own thing. So I'm super proud of him for that. You know what I mean? So let me bring my boy on. Yo, Brandon, and what is?
What's up? Can you still hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. In 15 years, 14,
It's
15 years, somewhere around that mark. This is the most face to face that we've ever done
Yup.
in
Everything's
all
been
that
through
time.
Facebook.
Yep,
How are you
that's
doing
so
today,
cool
buddy?
though. Dude, I'm doing all right. I'm getting over being sick for the last 4 days, flu-like symptoms and all that jazz.
Oh, that's never
But
fun.
no, it's not. But we're doing good. I
That's
made it
good,
to work
man.
today, and I worked the whole day.
Hey,
Start.
that's that's all that matters, man,
I
right?
can't say the same on Friday. I didn't make it.
Yeah, I'm listen, sometimes you just got to take those days and just you know, get yourself back to at least, 90%. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Dude, thank you. I'm like I said, thank you for being here, man. I'm so
I'm
glad that
so
you were.
excited.
I can't wait. So yeah, kind of give us a little bit about yourself, some of the struggles that you've gone through and like, what has helped make you who you are today.
Yeah. So I've had anxiety and depression as long as I can remember. I know growing up as a kid, I was on medication for ADHD and bipolar and all that stuff. I think since I was like 7.
Yeah.
So like a lot of that was like just not my choice. It was, the parents are in charge of that. So it was a long battle, but I made it through all that. I kind of took control of my life right around like age 25. I'm 33 now. And I'm making a lot of progress. I've made a lot of progress over the years. Obviously, like you said, we've been in each other's lives for so long that we've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly, and we've seen each other grow so much.
Oh yeah,
And
dude. Oh yeah.
recently finding faith has changed my life so much to get me out of the anxiety and depression. It's been really cool.
Dude, that's awesome. I love that. I mean, I've been doing something similarly. I've been kind of reluctant to jump in it with both feet just based on past experiences and just, shit that I've dealt with within religion and within the church. Um but I'm getting there. I'm learning to put more things in God's hands, you know what I mean? I'm learning to
Yeah.
I pray now, you know what I mean? Like, so we're getting there. We're slowly but surely getting there. You know what I mean? I do it at a rate and at a pace that I'm more comfortable with. You know what I mean?
I totally understand that. Religion is one of those things for me that like I've had it forced upon me so many times that I was so against it.
Oh yeah.
And then, you know, back in September, I was so broken. I was upset with who I was, like upset with how I was treating my family, and I just felt miserable. And it was about the time some other things took place in the world. I don't know if we want to talk about that, but
Listen, I'm here to talk about whatever you're comfortable talking about. You know what I mean?
well, the biggest thing that pushed me and my wife to go to church was Charlie Kirk getting murdered. Honestly, like it broke us
Right.
in a way that no, I didn't really understand why. I was anti-religion. I was so against religion. I didn't believe in it. I was agnostic. I believed that there was something out there, but I couldn't tell you what it was.
Right.
And about the time that he was murdered, like it just everything felt wrong. And I took a chance. I messaged one of my old neighbors from 10 years ago, asked her where she was going to church because I had gone to church with her once before. And from the minute the first service started, everything was different.
Yeah. See, that's huge and that's dope. And to be honest with you, you're kind of lucky that you found on the first go around you found a church that you
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? Like that's such a grueling process in my opinion, because like
Oh, I agree.
you can either find a good church or you can find one that just like makes you feel like you're literally in an eternal hell because it's just not as engaging as one might need it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I
For
actually,
me, go ahead.
no, you go. You're good.
For me, it's music, you know what I mean? I love music and I love, you know what I mean, everything about about it. So like the church of my ideal church would be, you know, a lot of music, you know, a little bit of
Hmm.
sermon reading, a little bit of, you know, this, that, but like, you know, it's really music driven, you know what I mean? Big choir, just that, just it feels good, you know what I mean? It's almost
Absolutely.
a it's a good release, you know what I mean? That was my favorite part about church when I used to go as a kid was singing in the choir and doing all the
Mhm.
music stuff, and like that was what kind of pulled me in to begin with, and then I lost that, you know, throughout life.
Yeah. See, I as a kid, I went to church with my parents, mostly my mother, which obviously I don't talk to my mother. Well, I say obviously, you know that, but
Yeah.
everyone else at home, like I haven't talked to my parents in almost 3 years.
Yep.
It's just they were very toxic to me, and I decided that I just couldn't. And I used to go to church with them, and finding the right church is definitely important. Like I get what you're saying with the music, like the music was so much.
Yeah.
And like with the church that I go to, like we have a live worship team where they're singing, and it's more modern. It's more like new age worship songs. Like the preaching is relatable to today's life, and it's just really cool. And from the minute that we walked in there, like it was so welcoming and inviting. But if you don't go to the right church, it's very possible to just not feel the same way, which is
Right. I
hard.
mean, I've been in churches where everybody looked and felt like really standoffish, you know what I mean? Like where
Hmm.
they're like we're almost like I don't feel like I belong.
Yep.
And I mean, historically, people like me, people that look like me don't and aren't welcome in a
Hmm.
vast majority of church settings, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Um,
And that's the
and
difference. Like with my church, it's a come as you are church. Like you can come in a hoodie and sweatpants, and you'll be just as welcome if you came into your Sunday best. Like bring
right,
all your problems, bring your messy life. Like that's what we're there for.
absolutely. And I mean that's the part of church that I find the most beneficial, you know what I mean? It's those that like if you go as you actually are and you just open yourself up, you're putting yourself in a position where you're able to really open up and try to get down to the root of whatever it is that's holding you up in life, you know what I mean?
And there's going
And
to be a
that's
lot of respect in that too. Like don't like pretend to be something you're not. If you're having a bad day, like you're having a bad day, bring it in. Like I've gone to church where I was having a good day. I've gone to church where I was bawling my eyes out, you know, run over by the freight train of depression. Like,
yep.
you just bring yourself there and your most authentic self, and it's cool to see how things work.
It is. It is. And I think that's been the biggest hang up is, you know, Haley found a church that we liked, and I'm for it. It's just it's making that first initial move to like get up and go. You
Yeah,
know what I mean? And especially, I mean, with everything that's been happening in my life lately, you know, now is more of a, you know, now would be more of a time than any to go and get, you know, familiar with a community, um, um, and, you know, discuss, you know, relevant issues and situations. But like, man, that social anxiety is
yeah, dude, it's
crazy.
so crazy. But I do want to like talk about it a little bit, like with what you're doing here and with like going to church or whatnot. Like the more you talk to people about like the things that you're going through, I'm surprised. Like I said, I've been estranged from my parents for almost 3 years now, and like that's something that I did struggle with very deeply. But the more that I talk about it, the more I find that I'm not the only one who ever had to deal with that. So like, there's a
Right.
lot of strength in the community aspect of it as well.
Oh, there is. And I mean, and you can find that even outside of church, you know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah,
within your own friend group. I mean, hell, you know, you and I have had I can't hours of
so
conversations.
many
Um
nonstop.
yeah, and it's been, you know, everywhere from like good to bad and everything in between, you know what I mean? And it's dope. You know, knowing that there's people out there, you know, even just outside of the church that like, fuck, dude, this guy gets it.
Yeah. And what's really cool for me, I know when I was the beginning of where we kind of met, like
Yep.
I had a lot of social anxiety. I felt like I was a piece of crap. So like trying to find people that I related with was hard.
Oh
But like
yeah.
you start talking to people on Facebook and you become friends with these people and you start sharing, like there's a lot less pressure because it's like I don't have to see you every day, and if we end up not liking each other, then that's the end of it. But
Right.
here we are,
Exactly.
so many years later,
Yep.
and it's cool that like I still remember the days that I had a bad day. I looked you up on the messenger and sent you a message like, dude, I'm having a rough day.
Yep. And we
So
would sit there
I
and we
remember
would sit
back
there
and
and talk
forth.
about it for a couple hours, and then,
Oh yeah,
sometimes I was able to help, sometimes I wasn't, but like it was all, what I mean, it was all good.
yeah.
It
And
was it,
sometimes you got to get the hard times. The advice that you don't want to hear. But, we're stubborn.
yeah. Oh yeah.
It's funny that we give the same advice that we need to take, but we don't want to take our own advice.
Yep. Yeah. It's where we're so cautious of like what everybody else, and so we're so aware of what they're going through, and like fuck, looking outside, like this is how you can fix it. This is how you can
Yeah,
adjust. And then it's like, all right, now look in a mirror, and it's like, no, we're not
yeah,
talking
no, we
about
don't
it.
do
We're
that.
not.
Yeah, no, no, that's all right. No,
But
that's for
now,
them to do.
right. But now, like with growth, and what comes with growth is being able to look in that mirror and like start thinking about what these people have said, and it's like, damn, okay, like maybe I did overreact in that situation, or like
Yep.
maybe I did, maybe I did underreact in that situation. You know what I mean? Like depending on the scenario, but like it's understanding like shit. Like I do have to look in that mirror, and I do need to face the things that I'm dealing with.
Hmm.
Um, Otherwise, like you're going to be in a rut and you're going to be stuck in the same place forever. It's going to be a nonstop, circle. And
Yeah.
we both experienced that for a few years, because I was
Oh,
like, dude, fuck, I was
absolutely.
like, fuck that. You can't tell me about myself. Like,
Yeah.
nah.
Hmm.
And then,
And
what I mean? I dissect it, and here we are.
that's it. Like, dude, it's been amazing watching you grow through all this. As I know it is for you to watch me. Like we've been
Absolutely.
through so much stuff together, and it's so wild to think that it's been 14, 15 years.
Yeah.
But it really has been. We started with the Subaru Legacy pages. That's how it all started.
Yeah. Like, it's funny that you meet people that you share some kind of common ground with, you know what I mean? And
Mm.
then you're like, all right, you start, you get to bullshit, and then you're like, oh, well, this is why I got into this. And it's like, oh, fuck, like
Yeah,
that's why I did. And then you start exploring things on a deeper level, and you like realize you're really similar to more people than you think.
absolutely. That's the biggest thing for me with going through the anxiety and depression, and the clarity that I have now is that isolation is awful.
Yeah.
And honestly, that's the go-to response. It's just shut down, don't talk to anybody.
Yep.
Nobody's gonna understand. I don't feel like explaining it over and over again, but that is like the worst thing you.
Yeah. It's rough, and like some of us think that that's our only way out, and that's our only way to
Mm-hmm.
cope, is to just be isolated. I mean, maybe for certain situations and some people that may be true, but like the vast majority, like humans by nature are not solo people.
Nope.
We're not independent creatures. You know what I mean? We
No.
crave being a part of something. We crave, friendship and socialization and all that stuff. So like,
Well, even on a spiritual level, like we are destined to be paired up. Like we're not meant to be by ourselves in any way, shape, or form.
exactly, in like in any capacity. And it's, something that us as men as a whole need to realize, like, it's okay to like do things alone for a minute just to kind of get your bearings. But like, if there's people in your life that you can reach out to, like reach out to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like say, hey, even if they snub you, sorry, just now
Um,
and like it is what it is. But like, I understand that like rejection is huge. Rejection, nobody wants to
rejection is
be,
awful.
yeah, nobody wants to get that message, yo, I can't talk right now, when you're going through it. But like, you develop friendships and you develop relationships with people that you subconsciously know, like if shit hit the fan, like I could call this dude,
Oh,
and like
absolutely.
and he'll be there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's like I said, like with social anxiety and not trying to make yourself look a certain type of way to some people, like the internet's a wonderful place to meet random people that you could talk to once, spill your guts out, and never talk to them again.
Right.
And there's no pressure in that because you most likely will never see them again.
And that's what we talked about. That's what actually Zip was talking about last week, was that
Yep.
like he's had more meaningful conversations and deeper conversations with complete strangers than he has with people that are close to him, and that's the exact reason, is that, you know, what do I benefit from lying to this person, first and foremost?
Yeah.
Secondly, who the fuck cares if they're going to judge me? All they have is this information and they make an opinion based on that. And I'm never going to see them again. So like, you know what I mean? It's one of those situations where it's all right to like just talk to a stranger, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And at the end of the day, if people judge you, who cares? I say that lightly, easily, but like I know it's something I struggle with. I worry what people are saying about me, what people are thinking about me,
Oh, for
and
sure.
and the more that I walk through faith, at the end of the day, the only person who's ever going to judge me that matters is God.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
like who are you to judge me for anything? That you can't. Only He can.
Yeah.
So like
Absolutely.
it's been a really cool journey for me finding faith. If you would have told me 4 months ago that this is what I'd be talking about right now in your podcast,
Oh, you went mute, buddy.
shut up.
There we go.
Better? All right.
Yeah.
We'll see how long it lasts before.
We're gonna switch to the AirPod mic.
All right, that's
Is
hey,
that
that
still
works.
good?
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, the other thing died. Um, but no, like finding faith is not something that I expected to find, and
Yeah.
it's changed my life so much that like I'm a huge part of the church. Like I help out as much as I can. I go to a Bible study group during the week. Like I can't get enough of it. I just want to be surrounded by the people. Honestly, it's what
Right.
makes the church. We
Yeah,
don't have a
absolutely.
permanent building, so we don't go to a fancy church building. We just go and hang out.
Yeah.
And it's been a really cool experience to go through that and just gaining the community aspect of it, but also like having the revelations that I've had through the anxiety and depression have forced me to look at things differently as they're happening.
Right.
Like we talked about isolation, and that's a word that has been foremost in my brain since I was saved is isolation, because that's where the devil works. He works in isolation. If he can get you by yourself, he's going to keep attacking you.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely.
And
Yeah.
that's where he wants you.
Love that cup. I'm a spooky fan myself.
I needed some tea. It was the closest cup I could get.
That's funny. So now, besides going to church and well, like, what other outlets have you found? Because you have a show, you have a podcast yourself.
Yeah, so
So talk a little bit about that.
I wanted to start a podcast for so long, and honestly, you starting yours inspired mine.
Hey, I
And I
love that.
just
Appreciate that.
I started off, I wrote out a whole script to make the first episode this cool thing. And then I'm reading off the script, trying to do this, trying to do it. And I'm like, throw the script out the window.
Yep.
The last episode didn't even have any notes. The next episode that I got to record tomorrow, I have nothing written down. I just know what I want to do. And it's been a cool change in direction for me because I
Yeah.
realized that I was going more towards self help instead of just talking about my experience, because my experience is what really made the difference for me.
Yeah. I mean, nobody else has the same experience. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's it's just getting into. So now, what do you like topics for your show? Like, what do you really get into? Like, kind of give us a little bit of an idea of like what you really got going on.
So where I was originally going to go was talk about anxiety and depression and talk about finding faith, but not have faith be the focus. But the more that I went through it, I realized that through my faith is where I really found the healing through my anxiety and depression. So
Yeah.
I try to talk about things in the ways that I've learned. Like I said, being forced to learn through this with my faith, I've realized that when things start happening, there's different ways to think about it before you spiral into the deep end of darkness.
Yeah.
And it's caused me to try to like, if I start getting anxious, stop, think about it. Why am I
Yeah.
anxious? And does it even matter? You know, there's so much that you get in your brain. And for me, like my anxiety comes from I have all this to do and this to do and this to do and this to do. But it's
Yeah.
like, can I do all that right now? No. So focus on one thing. What can you do? One thing at a time.
Yeah, no, that's it. And I mean, that kind of thinking helps with people like me with ADHD, you know what I mean? Like
Hmm.
as well as all that. So like, organizing the stuff in my head, like sometimes like I just can't do it alone. You know what I mean? There's just too
Yeah.
much. Like I just get scatterbrained. So like that's where my Adderall comes in. But like,
Well, that's also where like, take it slow things down, take a deep breath, talk it out with people. There's been times where I'm freaking out and I start talking to my wife about me freaking out, which is something that I don't normally do because usually, you shut down, you don't talk to anybody.
yeah,
And then like she sits there and like, well, what are you worrying about that for? That's next week. That's not tomorrow. Like, and it's like you're right. Like,
yeah,
I can't rush into next week. I'm still in today.
yeah. No, that's a very
So
like address what you can
mhm,
address right here, right now.
yeah. And so like with my podcast, I'm trying to open up that line of thinking because even
Yeah,
for myself, like the podcast is pushing me to do better for myself, but it's also like holding me accountable in a way to like remind myself that if things start going one way, don't let it keep going. If you're starting to get depressed, like stop, talk about it, move on the other direction.
right, right. Absolutely.
And
I
it's
love the
it's
way you put that.
that's been the biggest thing because like you're gonna sit there and you're gonna just meditate in how awful you feel, and it's just gonna get worse. You're stupid. You're not good enough. Like why
Yep.
would you do that? But the minute that you stop that and say, hey, I'm having this issue. I made this little mistake. All right, so what are you going to do differently next time? Oh, well, next time I'm going to do this and this and this. Well, did you really ruin anything by making that mistake? No, not really.
Right.
So, like, that's where the stopping and talking about it goes because, our brains are just going to beat the crap out of ourselves. We all
Oh
know
yeah.
how it goes.
Yes, we
So,
do.
opening that door for conversation is what really makes a huge difference.
Yeah. Being willing to have those conversations, when needed is huge. You know.
And like you said, some people are afraid of being judged, but at the end of the day, you find the people that you trust, and if not, find strangers.
Yeah. Yep.
You'd be surprised at how many random strangers you can have such good conversation with.
Oh,
I've
absolutely.
I've gone into things thinking I'm not even going to bother talking to this person. With my job, I travel from different place to different place, stores and whatnot. And it's like you walk into a store, you start talking to a manager or a customer, and you end up having a conversation for 30, 40 minutes.
Yep.
And it's like,
Oh my
where did the
god,
time
dude.
go? We just started this conversation and you never
Yep.
expect it.
Right.
So like if you're having a bad day, like, I'm fine. Don't lie to yourself. Don't
Right.
lie to everybody else. You're not doing anyone any favors.
Exactly. I mean, even if like so one thing that worked for me like way back in the day was writing letters. Did you ever
Mhm.
find like success in that and like, writing the letters, getting it out and then like disposing it? Was ever a thing that you did?
I didn't fully get into that. And the reason that I have with that kind of stuff is that I would start doing it and then it'd be like, well, this isn't good enough. So like it would just be another avenue to attack myself of,
Yeah.
oh, I should be doing this better. And even still now, like with the podcast that I'm doing and like with the stuff that I'm doing, like it's easy to fall in that trap of you're not doing it right. That's not good enough. Why would you do it that way? And it's like
Oh yeah.
it's so hard to not self-sabotage and beat the crap out of yourself, but that's where learning the difference between conviction and condemnation comes in to convict yourself that all right, that wasn't the right thing. I'm going to do it differently versus you suck. Why would you do that? That was the stupidest thing you could have done.
Yeah.
And stopping your mind from going to that place is huge. And it's something that has been very helpful for me because I'm the type of person that beats the crap out of myself if I mess up.
Yeah. I'm exactly the same way, actually. And like I feel like that's a coping tool from like a lot of letdowns early on in life, you know what I mean? And that's just
Yeah.
we do that because like we're it comes down to like insecurities and shit. We don't think we're good enough. We don't feel like we're good
Yeah.
enough. So
That,
like
that's exactly what it is.
ultimately this plane is going down. So like
Yeah.
the sooner we do it, the sooner I can move on and try the next avenue. And like I
Mm.
know a lot of people like that. You know what I mean?
Oh,
And
it's so hard,
it's
especially
really
for
hard.
me. Like, I don't talk to my parents. So I feel like I've had a lot of, I always had to prove myself. I
Yeah.
wasn't respected. I wasn't good enough. And it's like, even still to this day, they still think that I'm going through a phase. And it's like, I'm not going through a phase. Like, you guys disrespected me. I spelled it out for you multiple times, and you guys don't want to listen to me. And like, it's been 3 years and it's been nonstop. Like, they keep doing stuff. And it's like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah.
Which is where, what I'm working on now is forgiveness, which is another fun topic that I talked about in my podcast because I need to forgive them so that way I don't harbor the bitterness. But, you know, I don't need to forgive them and have a relationship with them. And I
Right.
think that's something that's really different for some people because I know for me, like, I never wanted to forgive them. We go into this
Oh
that
no.
forgiveness is so bad. I'm like, I'm not forgiving them. They're terrible people.
Right.
They hurt me. They don't respect me. And then having the revelation of like, forgiveness is selfish. It can be the other way, but for me,
Right.
like, I need to forgive them that no matter what they do, it doesn't affect me anymore because I know who I am.
Right. And it's funny. I was actually having that conversation with my fiance the other day. And it's not even about forgiving anybody for their sake, you know what I mean? It's forgiving them for so you don't continue to harbor that and like let it eat at you, and just
Exactly.
eventually that's going to boil over and like people are going to get hurt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I'm like, it's you can either address the problem or you can just forgive them, understand that's how they move and just keep moving on. You know what I
And
mean?
that's
Like,
it. And that's the biggest thing. And, this is something that I struggled with. And like, they would, they're, if they see this, they'll, they'll spread a bunch of lies about this too.
yeah.
But it's like at the end of the day, anybody who hears the lies, if they're worthy of the truth, they're gonna find the truth.
Right.
If they're not gonna seek the truth, then they don't deserve it to begin with.
No, they're just gonna take with what they're gonna take whatever information they think they have and just run with it and manipulate it to fit whatever
Exactly.
their truth is.
And you
You
know what?
know?
At the end of the day, like, you have to, own your truth. You know your truth. You know what really happened. You know who you are.
Yep.
Who cares what anybody else says? And I know that it's easy to say, but harder to live by. But like,
Yeah.
it's not our job to fix the narrative, but our reaction to their disrespect and everything will definitely put a damper on who we are. So
Right.
like, if we react the wrong way. So for me, like, I started my podcast and there was a Facebook post that went around that was awful. And I met it with no response, no public response.
Right.
Because like what good would that do? Anybody who genuinely knows me and cares about me knows what the truth is. So like there's no need to defend yourself because if people don't want to believe you, then they're not going to believe you and then they're not worthy of your time to begin with.
Right. If they don't have the mental capacity to understand or like to accept another thing or another variation or version of it as the truth, and they're not willing to change. Like they have that
Mhm.
incapacity to like change their mind based on facts, that I don't even waste my time.
That's it.
Like, yeah,
Yeah.
you got it, buddy.
I know what I did. I got a clean conscience.
Yeah, you know what I
That's
mean?
how narcissistic people are though. Like if they can't control you, they will control the way people see you.
Yeah,
And at the
it,
end of the day, it's a hard thing to learn, but
yeah.
you just got to accept that people are going to believe what they want to believe and the people that actually matter know the truth.
Right, exactly. And I mean, it's like I want to be able to sleep at night. So like
That's it.
I don't like it took a lot, and like you know what I went through like with my
Hmm.
family. Um it, it took a lot for me to like forgive, those family members, not for them, and it took a long time to understand that it
Hmm.
was not for them, it was for me, because once I realized that and I did, I just I understand that that's how, like, I have to keep certain things at surface level with certain people, and like I understand that. I'm cool with that, so I just keep it
Yep.
pushing.
And
You know what
see,
I
and
mean?
that it's important to make that clarification. And when
Yeah.
things go off the rail, just like you kind of have to understand that these people are, no matter what you do, the only thing you can control is how you react to it.
Right.
It's something that I'm working through very, very intently because, at the end of the day, that's right. I can't control if you want to go and say stuff about me. Who am I to, how am I going to stop you? So,
Right.
like, the only thing I can control is, well, they said dumb stuff. All right, cool. Move on from it. Because
Right.
if you're going to engage in trying to fix that, it's just going to bring more negativity because that's just where your brain is focused
Right.
on. It's focusing on righting the wrong. And if you just ignore the wrong to begin with and understand that, anybody who wants to know the truth will know the truth.
Right.
And that's where I find my peace. And that's where I'm finding my peace now is no matter what people are going to say about me, I did what I knew I had to do. I did the best that I could to fix the situation, to keep the situation. And at the end of the day, I got to look out for myself and my mental health. That's number one.
Right, right, absolutely, and you have a family now.
Yep.
We have families now,
Yeah.
so like there's other
Yeah.
people's futures that we have to take into consideration with every move that we make, and every situation that we're in and how we react to it. Um,
And it's
and
also important to take a step back with them and for them because, like, there's a lot of things happening with this situation with my parents that was making it hard on my wife and my son and not even really fully realizing it. And, like, kind of starting to feel the bits and pieces of it and knowing how it's affecting me and then talking about it. Like, it's important to check your situation every once in a while.
yeah, absolutely. I keep certain people at arm's length. I
Yep.
can't let them in, because I have kids to protect, and like
Yep.
I don't need anybody around me that I know is gonna bring a situation that's gonna make me go out of pocket.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? It's not worth it. It's easier to deal with whatever bullshit they have to say, or whatever irrelevant opinions they have, and just keep that with the negative people. I got no
And
time
even
for
if
that.
even if you have those people that try to come in, like there's nobody's entitled to your time or attention.
Right.
Like even I don't care who they are. Like the only person that matters is the man upstairs, in my opinion. I
Yeah.
know I keep talking about it, but like that's been a big focus of my life is finding my faith. And it's like nobody's entitled to anything. And it's we don't have to give it. And that's something else I feel like our generation struggles with is that like, oh well, they're our parents, they're our family. I have to deal with them. I don't have a choice. You don't get to pick your family. I'm pretty sure you said that last week.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like, no, you do get to pick your family. I have more
Absolutely.
family that isn't blood than I have family that's blood in my
And
life.
and the more we talk about it, the more conversations like this that we have, the more other people are realizing, fuck, dude, like, all right, so you mean to tell me that like I don't have to deal with this shit? Like I don't have to
Yeah.
allow it. No, you don't. Like you're you think you're trapped into behind these cells and these bars that are 2 inches apart, when in
Yeah.
reality all you have to do is just walk through you know what I mean? The solution is there. Um,
Yeah.
but
The
a lot of
solution isn't to walk through them, it's to turn around and walk the other way, honestly.
Yeah, yeah,
And, like,
absolutely.
for me, like, finding my faith and understanding, this is a conversation that I talked about in my podcast because it's been a big thing that keeps coming up. "Oh, well, the Bible says to honor your parents." And it's like, "All right, cool, but what does that look like?" "Oh, well, you're supposed to have a relationship with them and be respectful." Where does it say
Nah,
that?
nah, I'm grateful that
Where
they put
where
me on this planet, but
where
that you know
where
what I mean?
where does
Like,
it say that? you want to say they put you on this planet. God put you on this planet. He just used them to bring you up through it.
Right, as a vessel.
And it's like, I look at it this way because, it's been something I've struggled with for a very long time of not having my parents. And then, like, you're going to have people that are going to judge you for not having people in your life or cutting out family. But at the end of the day, like, they're not the ones who have to deal with the anguish that you get when they just disrespect you and just treat you like crap. So
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like, if you feel that you can't have them or you don't want them because they're not benefiting anything in your life, then you don't have to have these people.
Yeah, yeah, no, I mean I'm grateful. So I didn't know my dad coming up. I was raised by my mom and my
Mhm,
stepfather. I found my dad when I was about 20, and like thankfully since then we've had a great relationship. You know what I mean? And I'm very thankful for that. You know specifically that I had situations going on with my
mhm,
mom, and like I cut that off for years, dude. I was like,
mhm.
nah. And like, when me and Haley got together, she kind of nah, I don't want to say forced me, but she encouraged it, and she's like, "Hey, give it one more shot. Give it the good old college try."
Mhm.
And at that point, my mom was clean, so I was like, "All right, we'll give it a go." And like, thankfully, things have been going smoothly. But like, I was in that situation where like you don't have to engage with that. You don't have to let that have any bearing on how you move and the outlook on your
Yeah,
life whatsoever.
absolutely, and
You
it's
are
it's
an individual. You're a human being. You can make that you can make that assessment for yourself.
yeah, and it's great that you're able to now have that relationship, but sometimes, it takes the cutting them off to fix that
Yeah, absolutely.
because mm, some people aren't going to change and some people aren't going to change unless they're pushed off a cliff. Like, you're going to
Right.
have that where like they think that they have this power over you and you take it away and they're either going to not understand it or they're going to question, well, why is he not there anymore? And that's so sometimes you can fix a relationship, but setting
Yeah.
healthy boundaries is important.
Oh,
And
absolutely.
it's okay to stand on your boundaries too. Like,
Yep.
you don't have to, oh, well, they crossed the line because they're my parent. It's okay. No, like,
No, you can't justify crossing the line. Like that's
it doesn't work that way.
they don't get to dictate whether they actually disrespected you or not. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that's
If you
something that
feel disrespected, you're disrespected. Don't let them gaslight you and saying, "Oh, I didn't disrespect you." Like, well, maybe
exactly.
you didn't mean to, but that's how I felt. Like,
Yeah. Like
respect is a two-way street.
this is how I perceived it. And then how
Mhm.
they respond it will just show you will show you like how much they can handle mentally, like in their mental capacity to understand where you're coming from. If they're, rooted in their ways, you already know that, nothing is going to change at this point. So,
Yeah,
remove yourself from the situation.
and it's good to like, open the door and like see, hey, did anything change? Let's try to meet on my terms. And like for the
Yeah.
past 3 years, like me and my wife have gotten to the point several times where it's like, all right, maybe we'll be more. So like my brother lives right down the road with his wife and his two kids, and like I'm not gonna miss anything for his kids because they're there. Like I am perfectly
Right.
capable of being in the same room as them and not talking to them and not feeling awkward about it because I'm not there for them.
Right.
But like we've gotten to the point with me and my wife where it's like, oh, maybe we'll start talking to them a little bit more at parties and whatnot. And it's just, every time you start to maybe think about opening a door, they kick it right in your face and they do something that just proves that they still don't respect the boundary. And it's like,
Right.
I'm keeping an open mind because I know that I'm solidified in my decision right now, but I don't ultimately want it to be this way. I did so much to try to fix the relationship before I said I was done, and I had other people try to explain to them, and they don't see it.
Yep.
So, it's good to defend yourself. It's good to
Right.
stick up for yourself.
Absolutely. And whether that be toxic parents or toxic siblings, whatever
Mhm.
relationship, you know what I mean? Like you're not
Even toxic friends.
yeah, yeah, there's in a lot that's a whole conversation. I see. Yeah, it's yeah,
If you got friends that aren't making time for you, but they say they miss you, and you're trying to put time in, and they're still not giving it back to you, they're not your friends.
nah, move on, big dog.
I got some friends that unfortunately, we had a huge falling out, and I always get the, "Oh, I miss you, man," and then I try to make the effort to hang out, and it's not reciprocated, so it's like, "All right, cool, you're just somebody who I'm gonna talk to every once in a while,
Yeah,
but you're
yeah,
not my friend,
right.
and we're not gonna get back there because I'm not gonna be the only one putting in the effort."
Yeah, no, that's very valid. It's all a two-way street, you know
Yeah,
what I mean?
it's
It's not
it really is, and
um
surrounding yourself with the right people can push you to be really amazing, like,
yeah,
if you set yourself up to be surrounded by incredible people, you're gonna be an incredible person.
yeah.
And that's like with me, like going through the things that I'm going through now, I'm surrounded by so many people that I've never felt like I fit in or belonged with a larger group of people than I do right now, which
And
is
that's
really
awesome.
cool. So like when I'm having bad days and stuff, like I just reach out to my people. Like I got some group chats, I got some individual chats, I can make a phone call,
Yeah.
and it's like it's really good to have that network of people that you can rely on. And then, like, the other huge part of who I am is that I want to talk about my story. Like, I want to talk about my thoughts. I want to talk about the things that I've gone through because it helps. Like, it really does help. And, like, the way that I've been thinking about things more critically and thinking about it in a different perspective than I used to, it's opened up the door for a lot of like internal discussion in my brain to be like, well, gee, that happened. Why did that happen? Well, maybe this was a lesson. What can I learn from this? Instead of like, wow, that sucks. What am I supposed to do now? It's like, oh, well,
Right.
what can I learn from this? And it's
Right.
been cool because the more that I talk about it, like I find people that I can relate to, but I also find that people can relate to me.
Yeah.
And with a lot
That's
of
a
the things
that's a
that,
weird feeling, isn't it?
oh, dude, it's crazy. It's
Like
crazy.
shit, like hold on, wait a minute. Normally it's the other way around. Like, hold on,
Yeah.
wait.
Like,
Dude, the amount of messages I get from people that I've gotten since I started this podcast, since we started this podcast, you know what I mean? It's been great. I love to see more guys that are like, yo, real shit. Like
yeah,
I'm not feeling the hottest today. Like I'm not feeling all that great. Can I run
dude,
something by you
it's,
real quick, dude? A 15-minute conversation on the phone, on a text message or whatever can change your entire outlook and your entire
everything.
perception.
Yeah,
Everything,
sometimes it just takes something simple. Like I've had bad days and I went to the gas station and I ran into the gas station attendant. I had a good conversation and dude, my day was better.
dude. And
Like
that's all it
it's
takes.
such little things and it's like
Yeah,
it's again that word isolation. If you went to the gas station, you didn't talk to anybody, you just did your thing and left, like you're gonna miss those opportunities to
yeah,
change.
absolutely. You never know who you're gonna meet. You know what I mean? Like that's
No.
another crazy thing is like you could meet anybody um, billionaires who went from
Yeah.
living under in a cardboard box under a bridge to like, a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's that kind of shit that like that's what makes the little stuff in life that much better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Is being perceptive and being open to having conversations with people, even if it only lasts in passing.
That's it. And it's like there's so much power in the network of just the human interaction.
Yep.
And I know I'm a victim of it. Like this phone sitting in front of me that like we get glued to it. I know I have a hard time putting it down sometimes and it's a waste. You're walking around staring at your phone like you don't get to talk to people.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
one of my favorite things to do is just talk to random people.
Oh, absolutely. You know what I mean? It's I don't know. I do it all the time everywhere I go. You know what I mean? I always make little bullshit conversation because like you learn so much about people and you learn different perspectives and like I don't know. It's just being open.
Just being that's it.
Don't not closing.
You
Not,
don't even have to add anything after that. Just being open,
yeah,
open to possibilities, open
yeah.
to thinking, open to people, open to talking about things. Like if you can't be closed minded because that's when you get trapped
No.
in the box of this sucks. I suck. Like I'm not getting out of this. This isn't getting any better. I can't fix this.
Yeah.
Like you have to be open. You have to be able to talk to people about it.
Oh, for sure.
and it's really cool, like, going through this podcast with, like, watching your podcast and watching this grow and watching mine grow and just seeing, like, people in general grow. Like, a lot of times, like, me and you might not go through the same exact situation, but the pain is the same.
Oh yeah.
So we can't relate on the situation, but I know the pain you're feeling.
Oh yeah,
And it's
for
like,
sure.
it's
And that
crazy that you can have people that go through two very different situations, but the pain is so similar that, like, they can help each other cope. And it's like,
yeah.
it's really cool to see that happen. I mean, I've experienced it firsthand myself where, we're talking about someone who left an abusive marriage. The pain that's from there is very similar to my parent pain.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Abandonment, not being good enough, not feeling loved. Like, it's the same pain.
There's I can't quote it right now because it's been a minute since I looked into it, but there's like 5 basic fears or something like that. And like different traumas, different like a variation of different traumas all create those same
Mhm,
5 base levels of fear. And you know what I mean? We all can connect with other people on that, but not the same situation. You know what I mean?
mhm.
Like you were saying, it's
Well, something else I talked about in my podcast is 2 lies that the devil tells you. You're not loved or it's not enough.
yeah.
And
So the
if you look at
5,
all the things that get to you, like, they stem from that.
yeah. So I just did a quick Google search. So it's the 5 core fears are abandonment, loss of identity, loss of meaning, loss of purpose, and fear of death. You know what I mean? And we all can relate
Oh,
and resonate
absolutely.
on those 5 core fears. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? But based on just on different traumas and different levels of trauma. But like all we have to do is have a conversation.
Yep.
And then boom, you found somebody that feels what you're feeling, that understands what you're going through. And, while they may not be able to help, you know what I mean? Any form of help is help, but like
Yeah.
they may not be able to directly impact your situation, but they can offer a different perspective. And that's
Yeah.
huge, is just
No, that's
changing that.
something that's changing your thought process has been the biggest thing that's helped me, was that instead of sitting here and just dwelling on the anxiety of, I'm overwhelmed, this sucks, like, I don't have enough time, I don't have enough money, like, how am I going to get through all this? The more you sit with that, the heavier it gets. But if you stop it at the beginning and you start talking about it, the
Yeah.
burden goes away.
Or it gets delegated in a way that it
Yeah.
that it needs to be, or it gets handled in a way that you might have not been aware of when the situation first presented itself. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's
Yeah.
bouncing ideas off of one another that really, like, it just we're socially dependent creatures. Like we
Yes.
need other people. We can't do this shit alone, because then it ruins your psyche, and it's ugly.
It is.
Then you just get feral at that point.
You just get so busy focused on the tree that's in front of you, all the details of your life, the things you got to do. And it's like, you need somebody outside to be like, hey, you're staring at a tree. You're in a big ass forest. Like,
Yeah. Take a look around you.
there's more to this story than this one thing that you're fighting with.
Yeah.
And, like,
Yep.
that's been something that I've struggled with. And that's been a huge help. Like, when you start bouncing things off of other people, that it helps you zoom out.
Yeah.
Your problem is this big and you're in a forest.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, it's really cool.
You're
It's cool to
hyper
have people to talk to.
Yeah. You end up getting
Mm,
hyper focused on an ant instead of looking.
yeah, that's
Yeah.
it. And,
It's
like, I'm not local to you guys, but, like, if any of your friends or whatever, like, anyone wants to hit me up, like, my inbox is always open.
absolutely.
I got my Facebook Messenger on my phone. That's usually where I talk to people more than I text people. So
Yeah. Yeah,
my
for
door is
sure.
always open, my inbox, anyway. And I just try to be there for people.
Yeah.
I know that I struggled with it. I know that I struggle with things still. And for me, having somebody to lean on has been my saving grace.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot of people's, you know what I mean? It was mine, realizing, going through Like for instance, when my uncle and my grandmother died, 11 months within one
Yeah.
another. When that situation happened, like if it wasn't for the people around me, I'm not 100% certain that I would have made it out of that. You know what I mean? But I leaned on
Right.
the people that you know that said, "Hey, if you need anything, let me know." I was like,
Yep.
"If dog, I fucking need you." You know?
And it's hard, but sometimes we have to push through the fear of reaching out to people, like,
Yeah,
because the possibilities are endless if you start talking about it. They
yeah,
really are. And it's like, you're gonna have that time or two where you talk to the wrong person and they're not gonna make it any better. They're gonna make you feel worse, and that's just
right.
not the right person. But don't give up. Like,
No,
you'll find people that'll help you and be there for you no matter what. And I think there's a lot of strength in that. There's strength in numbers, is what they say.
that's it, dude. That's
That's
that's it. That's that village strength. You know what I mean? It's
it.
going to bed knowing that there's people that you can rely on, and it sucks though because there's a lot of people that isolate themselves and like
Hmm.
and don't allow anybody to get in on that level based on past traumas. So like
Hmm.
that's a tough, and I can see that in a lot of people, and it's I don't
You
know, it's
see,
one of those situations where you don't want to pry, but it's like dog, like just that's why I'll just
it,
usually just leave a comment like tune into my
yeah,
podcast. And you know what I mean? If I've had a couple people pop up that, over the last couple weeks that I'm like, damn, like, all right, shit, like that really helped. And like that's it. Just
yeah. It's the little things and finding things that you can, relate to. There's been days where I'm having an awful day, and I throw on sermons when I'm driving in my van.
yeah,
And occasionally, like, I'll be having a bad day, and I'll hear a thing that just it forces you to think about the situation in a different way, and then it's like, all right, cool. So, like, I'm focused on this being all this big old negative thing, and it's awful, and it's terrible, and all right, well, this could be a lesson. I can learn from this. I can grow from this. I can do better so this doesn't happen next time. And it's like making that shift in focus is
yeah,
what brings you out of the darkness, honestly. Like, you need to focus on anything else, anything that
yeah,
doesn't make you feel like you're beating yourself up, anything that doesn't make you feel like you're doing things wrong. Like, focus on it. Like, you're focused on music and photography. I
yeah.
focus on RC cars and 3D printing and doing things for other people because I like to help other people. It makes me feel good about myself.
Absolutely. You ever notice that kind of stuff comes full circle though? You know what I
It
mean? Like
does.
once you change your perspective, like then like somewhere a couple of months down the line, you see somebody that was in the same spot that you were,
Yeah,
and
oh
it's
yeah.
like, hey, big fella, let me let me talk to you real quick. And
That's how
like
it's been for me with finding my faith these last 3 months. It's like, I remember when I thought like that.
yeah, no, absolutely. Well, dude, I'm getting exhausted. It's
I
been
feel you,
it's
man.
been a day. Um
Yeah,
So I think we're gonna call it a night. But dude, we're gonna definitely have to have you back for a second
oh,
episode.
absolutely.
Um,
I would love to be back. This is fun. This is good.
this was definitely good. I had a great time.
Yeah, this is our first, like, voice conversation that we've had in
I
15 years.
it is. You're definitely right about that.
We'll have to fix that, one of these times I end up in Connecticut.
Yeah, no, I'll have you over. I'll cook dinner. I'll make it. I mean, we'll make it a weekend of it or something.
Perfect. We'll have to make some plans there.
Take a Monday off and then
Yeah.
come do the podcast live.
Oh, that would be sweet.
That would be sweet,
That would be
dude.
sweet.
I really, really appreciate you being here, man.
I appreciate everything you're doing. I appreciate you being my friend for so long, man.
Same here, likewise, dude. It's been a hell of a run. Dude, yeah, I appreciate everything that you're doing. I appreciate everything that you've been posting, all your support, dude. It's been great.
Thank
Um,
you.
I hope you have a great rest of your night.
You too, man.
And I'll tune into your next episode of your podcast there.
I'm excited about the next one.
Cool. All right.
I was excited about the last one. I'm even more excited about this one.
Hell yeah, dude. No script, no notes. That's the way to do it,
Nothing.
man. Dude. Brandon, my brother, I appreciate you. Have a great
Thank you,
rest of your
man.
night, man.
You too. Thanks for having me.
Of course, bro. We'll see you around.
Sounds good.
All right. All right, you guys. What a great episode. It's unfortunate that Zip couldn't be here, and we wish him the best. But he'll be here live and in person for next episode. But you guys have a great night. Remember, if you guys are struggling, if there's anything that you're going through, there's anybody that you need to talk to, reach out. Reach out to me, reach out to a friend, reach out to a relative, somebody that you connect with on that level. You know what I mean? There's never a reason for you guys to do any of this alone. And we're obviously here every Monday, 8:30 p.m. Rain, sleet, rain, snow, or shine, whatever the saying is. But thank y'all for tuning in to the Mental Health Podcast, and we will see y'all next week.